All right, happy Wednesday, everybody. Feels like we should be farther along the week than we are right now, but it is Wednesday. So we'll let a few folks get in. We got a lot of Tech basketball to talk about. Good stuff last night against TCU. We obviously have some baseball to talk about. Just boat raced UTA last night. Finally, the last game, 5 and 6 days in Arlington against seventh-ranked Oregon State today. Couldn't quite get it done. 10-4, the Beavers take it out on the Red Raiders. They're headed home. Are the Red Raiders for a weekend series starting Friday against Texas Southern? Finally, the home opener. Spring training continuing for Texas Tech. That's what February is basically for college baseball. It's spring training, but the games count. All right. You guys know what to do. If the audio is good, the video is good, you let us know. Give us hearts, thumbs up, all that cool stuff. That way we know we're good to go and get on down the road and start having some fun with y'all. If you're watching on Twitter and on YouTube, thanks to Market Street, United Supermarkets, you can text right in. Hit the comments. We look forward to visiting with you here in the Arctic Air studios tonight. If your air is not Arctic, you know what to do. You call the bear, callthebear.com. It's easy to do. So all that and overrated, underrated, rated right Wednesday. TheRaiderland.com every Wednesday morning in our column. We give you three things. You can tell us whether they're rated right, whether they're overrated, or whether they are underrated. All right, let's get it motivating on down the road tonight in 3, in 2. Good evening, West Texans, all you good, fine, friendly folks out there who wish you were. I'm Ryan Hyatt, TheRaiderland.com, where you start your day every day, and we got original content there waiting for you. We love putting together the Raiderland hot links every day. Cool stuff we find on the internet. Hat tip Joe Kinsey, screen caps. He sets the standard nationally. We do a little West Texas version of it for you every day. Stuff you might have missed that we don't want you to miss out on. So check it out there at TheRaiderland.com. Already mentioned it. We're in the Arctic Air studios tonight. Call the bear if your air was not Arctic enough today when it was, 80 something degrees. A cool front down to 65 tomorrow. Yay. Going back and forth. It's hard on your AC unit, on your heater, all that stuff. Call the bear. They'll get you taken care of. Also brought to you tonight by the Reserve, 103rd Street and Quaker, a culinary tavern. Games are always on there with the sound. You can check it out. A great original menu. Cool original cocktails. It's a Lubbock original. It's the Reserve. Also brought to you by Thacker Jewelry in Lubbock, another West Texas original, a legend. And they bring you Diamond Talk. We'll have another edition of Diamond Talk this weekend, devoted specifically to Tech baseball, though we'll talk about it tonight with you guys here on the broadcast. Now, we've got Tech baseball to look at. We've got Tech men's basketball. We posed the question on 60 Seconds of Raiderland today. Should we be talking Coach of the Year for Grant McCaslin right now? The answer is yes. Big 12 Coach of the Year. That absolutely the conversation should be taking place. Picked 8th in the Big 12. They got a chance to finish in the top 4. Kansas has underperformed. I'm not going to hold anything against Kelvin Sampson for being good, but everybody thought they would be good. Now, if they go ahead and win the league by a couple of games and finish up that way, and the number 1 national seed in the country, okay, tip my cap to you. He'll probably end up winning it. But the conversation should be being had right now about Texas Tech and Grant McCaslin, who put together a team on the fly this summer, has won games without a critical piece in Warren Washington. They do it again last night. We said they find a way. Said at halftime, tied at 38. Doesn't matter how you do this thing. You just figure out a way to do it. And they did last night. They figured out a way somehow to get it done, getting contributions from players like Lindsey, who you never know at any given moment how checked in or checked out he may be with the program. Jennings made it happen. Pop Isaacs, good enough. Toussaint, good enough. But again, and we've spoken about this year, down the stretch, Texas Tech finishes. The moniker that they use, and we talk about culture a lot around here, that you've got to have great culture. And somehow McCaslin's built that with Tech basketball a short amount of time. You've got to have the culture. Well, they've got a winning culture down the stretch with a team that was thrown together. But they are tougher mentally, and they are tougher physically than their opponents down the stretch. They were trying to run down Iowa State the other day. They just weren't good enough and didn't have enough time. They have run down other opponents and finished them off, and they ran down TCU again last night in a raucous United Supermarkets arena that more and more people around the country are waking up to the fact that it's one of the greatest home court environments in college basketball. That's a discussion for another time, perhaps. But again, Texas Tech down the stretch, they were more physically fit than TCU. All you had to do was watch the body language of the Frogs. I don't think I've ever said that sentence in my entire life. Watch the body language of the Frogs. They were tired physically. They couldn't hit free throws. You miss free throws at the end because you're tired mentally and physically. What does it mean that he was checked out of the program? It means that he put some stuff on Instagram a couple of games ago that had many people wondering, oh, wow, he's not going to play enough. He's going to be bailing out. And there were other instances earlier in the year where people were questioning how bought in he was. So last night, he was bought in. And hopefully some of those things have been smoothed over because he's obviously talented. He's incredibly raw. But he's obviously, you don't come play basketball at Texas Tech unless you got a little bit of talented abilities about you. But last night, you figured out a way. And that game will loom large. It does sound nasty watching the body language of Frogs. But you were more fit than the Frogs, mentally and physically. They couldn't handle it. OU, you were more fit than OU. You've been more fit than other teams you've come back on. And last night, you get a little, you give a little. You lose Washington, and you were giving up inside, and you were not giving up quitting, but you had a tough time inside. But what you had was a smaller, quicker lineup that Grant McCaslin used effectively to thwart the one thing that Jamie Dixon loves to do, even more than running out onto the court himself and being a menace to society, but that is run and play high up tempo. And with about 6 minutes left in the game, the team that leads the country in fast break points, 19.7, I believe, game, 19 points. They had 2 fast break points. The Texas Tech with the small lineup that was ineffective inside and had problems creating and defending found a way to turn that to their advantage. So now you're solidly on the 6 line. Who do we pay attention to? Say it with me. HoopsHD.com, Chad Sherwood and the crew, and then Dave Almond at Brackettville.wordpress.com. Those are the best in the country. The only 2 you need to care about when it comes to getting it right with the NCAA. And really, isn't that all that matters? We don't really care about KenPom numbers and this and that. We care about where we're going to see your favorite team in the NCAA tournament. That's what everything is done inside every program, is to build over the course of 2 different seasons, non-conference, conference play, into the 3rd season. And there you go. I don't know if he is still feeling some of the effects of some of the illnesses that have been going around. He's gotten banged around pretty good. I don't know if he's got that, but I think it's just a lingering, the flu that riddled this team. I think it may be a little bit coming back from that they were alluding to last night. But as far as I know, if not 100%, he's 100%. What's wrong with Isaacs, though, of late has been his shot, which, again, last night, you just figure out a way, right? 0-5 long range, but you get to the line 12 times, you make 11 free throws. He's got to get the 3-point shot back. I mean, your upside depends on that. But, again, you find a way. The tougher team wins. You get to the line, one of the best shooting teams in the country, in the Big 12, and if you're in the Big 12, you're in the country. They hit the free throws, and they get to the line. You made, say it with me, the Bob Knight line. We want to make more free throws than the opponent attempts. Texas Tech 24 of 28, TCU 16 of 21. They couldn't get the line late because they were tired. How good could this team be with everyone healthy? They could be a legitimate 4 seed in the NCAA tournament. They could be a protected seed if everybody healthy and hitting. They could be definitely a tough out in the tournament. They're going to be in the tournament. It's just a matter of how good a seed you can get. And really, I don't care at a certain point. You'd love to be as high as you can, but just keep me off the 8-9 line, and I think I can live with just about anything else when I look at this bracket. Because when you get out of the Big 12 and you play the first 2 games in the tournament, unless you're playing on the 8-9 line, which funnels you into the 1, I think almost every opponent you could possibly see is going to be inferior to what you've already done in the Big 12. Print it. 10-inch headlines. Can't remember how many inches are big in headlines. I used to know that stuff. So we got basketball to talk about. Let's see. The overrated, underrated, rated right. We give you 3 topics every week. This week's topics, and you can tell us whether they're overrated, underrated, or rated right. Breakfast for supper. This time of year particularly, but all year long. A lot of people enjoy breakfast for supper. Storming the court. Overrated, underrated, rated right. And finally, Greg Gutfeld, host of Gutfeld, coordinator of the 5 on Fox, an unstoppable force. Overrated, underrated, rated right. Those are the 3. You already know that. Sorry, I've got an itch. Like, right here. Drive me crazy. Breakfast for supper, storming the court, Greg Gutfeld. You can tell us how you rate those today, if you so choose. So we got that. We got basketball topics, things that impress you the most right now. Do you agree or disagree with my statement that I think Grant McCasland should be definitely considered coach of the year in the Big 12 right now? You're picked 8. You got a chance to finish as high as 4th. There's work to be done. But if it ain't him, it's got to be Kelvin Sampson, because there's nobody else in my opinion. And then with baseball, we got to talk about Brady Trombello. First off, great name for a pitcher. The freshman gets the start last night. 4 great innings against UTA. And if we were doing helmet stickers today, he would get one. But we did them on Monday, so he had to. Great outing. Some really good pitching by Texas Tech over the weekend and the last 2 days. And they used a ton of pitchers and did exactly what you wanted to do. But Trombello, who's out of Ridgefield, I believe Ridgefield, Washington. I think that is right. Ridgefield. I have to double check on that. Way out there. And a great name, Trombello. Breakfast or supper is underrated, says Damon. CJ, I agree that he should. I assume you're talking about me being elected president. Gutfeld is underrated, says Damon. Where were the 3? What are you talking about? What were the 3? Oh, what were the 3? 3 topics today. Breakfast for supper, storming the court, Greg Gutfeld. Let's see. Text 21 and Williams played great last night. Yeah, it'd be Lindsay, who we were talking about earlier. Number 21, 4 of 9. I think he had more minutes last night than maybe all year. Storming the court is rated about right, depending on who's rating it. I'm kind of meh on it, these days. And Tech fans didn't storm the court last night. They did not. McCasland's got this thing where he goes and joins them. They hang out together. They do the Matador song. They have all that stuff that some people are confusing that with some sort of, court. It's not a court storming. Court storming in Omaha last night. Omaha? How about Creighton? Just taking down UConn. UConn gets the loss out of the way. I still have them slightly ahead of Houston only because they can be so dangerous offensively. Houston has to play with great defense every night for 6 games to win a title. UConn, they can win it with offense. What do you mean they just lost? Yeah, they lost. It's okay. Breakfast for supper, and what would that entail? Because really, if it's like sausage and ham and stuff like that, don't we have that all the time? I have supper for breakfast. People who know me know I enjoy a fine cheeseburger and tater tots for breakfast. Not that there's anything wrong with that, right? Come on now. It's okay. On Twitter, David Daniel says says back when Tech was looking for someone to replace Mark Adams, you said Grant McCasland would not be a good hire. Have you changed your tune? I do not remember ever saying that. I don't recall ever saying that. If anybody has me on tape saying that or anything, I'd love to hear it because I'd love to hear either the context or whatever. But I don't recall ever saying that I didn't think Grant McCasland would be a good hire. At the time, me and Rob Rowe were still doing the radio show. We both did pretty deep dives on that. In fact, we're leading the charge in saying the people that thought that he was just defense only were misguided and didn't know his history and how high scoring some of his teams had been that he coached to talent. So I really don't. I think David on Twitter may be confusing me with somebody else. Just guessing that may be the case. Oh, well, it does happen. Mike, Gutfield is overrated. Witty, but give me the news. Gutfield is like the Daily Show. Well, you do understand, Mike, he does a show. He's not doing the news. He's doing a show. He is not a newscaster. He's not doing a news program. He's doing an entertainment show with the Five, a commentary show. And then he's basically doing a late night show. Not basically, he is doing a late night show with Gutfield. So you're giving me the news. That's not what he does. Alan, David is probably thinking of me. I was a skeptic of McGasland. Alan, of course, frequent contributor to TheRaiderland.com and other things. And now back to being a Texan. Yeah, I'll own everything I think I said, but I really don't think I said that about McCaslin. I think it's okay. People get everybody in the media confused all the time, and it happens. I don't hold that against David at all. People still think I'm doing a show with Don Williams. Reckham on our United Supermarkets text line, way better than the other late night host. I assume we're talking about. Hey, I'm good to have Brian Mudd with us tonight. Good to have Brian Mudd. So yeah, Texas Tech baseball today. Just didn't drive in runs when you had opportunities. The media keeps the team down. Absolutely. Well, let's see. I got to go back to the box score real quick. For today, was this today or yesterday? Yeah. Pretty much you had runners on base and you couldn't get them home. There's the story. You know, they pitched a little bit better than you pitched here in the midweek. They're obviously a very talented offensive team. That's going to be a good Oregon State team. By the way, they obviously don't have a conference plan, so they're playing as an independent. That's kind of this barnstorming deal that they've got this year, and it's going to be really interesting to see at the end of the year what their RPI, talking about Oregon State, looks like. Oregon's doing the same thing. Can't wait to see how this turns out. Yeah, let's see. Click on that. Go away there. Yeah. Where are we? Runners in scoring position, 2 of 13. Runners on, 4 of 23 today. Yeah, there you go. Neither team had great pitching today. The strike percentage, I look at that to see how a team is around the plate. I want to see above 60. 57.9 for Tech, 57.5 for Oregon State. Tech also threw 195 pitches. That's far too many pitches to throw in a single game. Well, where is Monterey? Leah Chavez going to play college ball. She'll probably start off at like UConn or someplace like that. I don't know. I truly don't know. She'll get a hell of a deal on NIL. She'll go somewhere and she'll play. And hopefully be highly successful. Carry on the great Lubbock tradition of great Lubbock women's basketball players. Yeah, truly don't know. She's only like what? She's only like a 7th grader this year. I lose track how far along she is. Overrated, underrated, rated right. 3 topics: breakfast for supper, storming the court, and Greg Gutfeld. You can rate those today. We can also get your thoughts on Tech basketball. What impressed you the most? What is impressing you the most? A big series of games coming up. You've got to beat UCF. You cannot stumble if you want to move onto the 5-line or better. You got to beat those people. Then you really need to beat Texas in Lubbock. Not a given. You'll be favored. Certainly not a given. Nothing's given in the Big 12. You need to beat those people. Then you got to go to West Virginia, and you need to win there. You need to beat Oklahoma State. So you know what I'm saying? I'm saying you got to win 4 of your last 5, and then you got to close out against Baylor. And it's a Baylor team that's kind of trending. You know, they couldn't get it done at BYU, and I know people think BYU, or they say BYU has this huge home court advantage. I guess It's a huge. The Marriott Center is massive. They don't fill it up. It's sort of like TCU, sort of like Tennessee and Thompson bowling, where it's like 25,000 seats. So they get 12,000 in there. It's half empty, but they still got 12,000 people. So Baylor's kind of training the wrong way. Am I saying Tech can win out? Am I saying Tech should win out? No, this team's not good enough to win out. Okay. If and when you get Washington back, that will help. I did say if, because at this point now, when I see a guy in a boot, in street clothes, okay. That's when I start saying if at this point in the season. I see big guys, I see toes. I go if now, not when. Now, if they want to come and give me a definitive timetable, which they obviously are reticent to do for whatever reason, I don't know why. I don't know why it's like a state secret. Oh, we're gonna, David says boot equals 5 to 8 weeks. Very well could be. This is why we should have mandatory injury reports in college athletics. 100%. It just shouldn't be that difficult to come out and say, yeah, he did this to his toe. His metatarsal and his tarsal are in this situation, and we're hoping to get him back in a week or two, and we'll see from there. But he's definitely going to be out for 2 or 3 games. Oh no, they're going to prepare differently. Really, they already are. They're already preparing differently. No, they're going to know what we're going to do. They already know what you're going to do. They know what you're going to do with him. They know what you're going to do without him. They're preparing. God, college coaches just candy asses on that stuff. There's no 2 ways about it. High school coaches, same thing. They're candy asses too. I feel like there was, I know what we hadn't got to that I wanted to get to. Here you go. Greg Sands, Texas Tech Golf wins the Prestige there at La Quinta, California. La Quinta, Spanish for next to Denny's, and they run away and hide. Just absolutely run away and hide from the field today. A ridiculous 33 under as a team to beat Kansas, who was 21 under. Stanford 17 under. Washington 15 under. K-State high there, 12 under. Duke, pretty good program, 12 under. UCLA, San Diego. I'm just giving you some teams that are in this field. It's a nice little field. This is going to be a really good team again. This is going to be, what is the next national champion at Texas Tech? We've seen it in track. We've seen it in women's basketball. Baseball is always in the conversation to me because right now they're always a team that has an ability to get to Omaha. If you can get to Omaha, you can be in the conversation. But men's golf may be the one that's really on the cusp. They're just really, really good right now. And that's kind of cool to me. It's always going to be cool to me because of how far that program in track has come since I was a student at Texas Tech in the late 80s, early 90s, that it was literally an afterthought. You almost didn't have a coach. You had a sponsor in both of those. And that it was just a foregone conclusion that Texas Tech would never compete in the Southwest Conference, let alone nationally, please. National, oh, come on. But from here, it's possible. So they get that one. 33 under, making it look easy. All right, fire away. Your questions, your comments, your thoughts, anything else that we may have missed on Tech baseball, Tech basketball, or otherwise. Let's see, what did looking at anybody. Stripling did get his first start at DH today for the Red Raiders, so he went 2 for 4. And good to see McGee get a couple of hits today. Finally, he goes 2 for 4, and just they've got to figure out the bat behind Cash. Cash 0 for 4 today, 136. So you're 3-2, and you've done all of that without Cash basically having an impact. See if I can pull up the season stats right now. You need to get Tracer Lopez going at the plate. 2 for 17 to start the year. No problem so far for Poppy. Cooled down a little bit the last 2 days, but 278. Damian Bravo loves playing in Arlington. He had a nice 5 games there, 9 of 19. Owen Washburn, 8 of 21, 381. And then Bazell making the change, going behind the plate, getting that done. So, yeah, on the season now, Gavin Cash, 3 for 22, 136 the average. They're going to have to find – they've had McGee behind him. I don't know where we're going to see this end up. I'm sure they'll play around with that a little bit more this weekend. 2 hits for Cash on the day. Is that what he had? Trying to pull that back up and get it. There we go. Team box score. Not today, for the year, right? 2 hits for the year for Cash. Because today, Gavin Cash, at least listed in the box score I'm seeing, 0 for 4. Oh, well, did have a sacrifice. So what do we want to see from baseball this weekend? You go get minimum 3 out of 4. If you sweep Texas Southern, that'd be great. Stretch a few guys out, a little bit on the mound. Like see Robinson go a little bit further. We'll see a few roles to find, but really it's 4 and 5 in the lineup that I think I'm most interested in right now, and that's getting. Cash is going to hit 4 in the lineup. We know that's where he's going to hit. And I don't know if he's pressing too much, if he was chasing too much, maybe a little bit swinging at pitches that he probably shouldn't have been swinging at. I don't know. That we'll see. Are they pitching around him because they don't fear the bat behind him? And that's why he's pressing. That's why he's chasing, that he doesn't think he's going to get a good pitch. So he's got to go after bad pitch. I don't know. But I think that 4 or 5 spot in the lineup is really all I want to see, clarify maybe a little bit. Everything else I think you're feeling pretty good about. And then the arms take care of it. I call it spring training because that's what it is right now. It's spring training. Major League Baseball gets a month of it. College baseball didn't get any. This first month of college baseball is spring training with the games counting, which is one reason why I applaud Texas Tech for playing Tennessee, for playing Oregon State, for playing Oregon, for playing quality teams right out of the gate and doing it most every year in either this classic or down at Minute Maid or something. Thank you, Tim Tadlock. You're not afraid to do that. You're not open up with Nebraska Kearney. But football guy may be panicking. I'm sure football guy is. Football guy is probably texting the local sports station, freaking out about something. After 5 games for a team living out of a suitcase for a week, football guy is probably, he probably is texting local sports station, freaking out about this or that or making incredible value judgments about this team because that's what football guy does. Oh, well, we appreciate football guy for everything he is and everything he isn't. We're going to wrap it up. We got to say goodbye first off to the folks on Twitter or X. Do we call it X? Are we calling it X or are we calling it Twitter? I know it's X, but are we calling it? What the hell are we calling it? I don't know. And then our YouTube channel, if you haven't subscribed to it, please do so. It helps bump us up. It helps all of our great clients like The Reserve, a culinary tavern in Lubbock, like Thacker Jewelry, great sponsor of Diamond Talk, like Arctic Care. Trent, I am freaking out about Cash. Yeah, okay, settle down, football guy. He did not suddenly not learn how to play baseball. So we got to end the stream for them. Hit the stream, yeah, end the stream. Yeah, once I get asked twice every time.